First of all, let's understand what modals are. Modals are helping verbs used to express the speaker's intention of speaking and opinions. Modals help us understand whether the speaker wants to express ability, possibility, permission, or obligation in the speech. Now, let's understand each of the modals one by one. The modal verb should conveys the idea of an obligation. So, what is an obligation? Obligation is the moral duty or commitment that a person is bound to do. Should is also used to make a suggestion. Next, the modal verb ought to is used in the same situations as should, but with an even stronger sense of the obligation. For example, he ought to do his homework on time. Must is used to make a conjecture. Now, what's the meaning of conjecture? Conjecture is an opinion or conclusion formed on the basis of incomplete information. The modal must makes a conjecture with some certainty. It also makes a command in a more respectful way. It is even used to express obligation with utmost intensity and is used to forbid something in its negative form. Shall is mostly used in England to form the simple present for I and we, and to indicate a promise in the future. It's used in the United States to form polite questions that include a polite request for permission and universally in formal or legal situations. It can also be used for offering someone help, for suggestions, or for asking what to do. The modal verb will shows willingness or interest, expresses intention, and makes predictions. It is also used to reassure someone or help them make a decision, to make a semi-formal request, to show habitual behavior, to make a promise or a threat, and to talk about the future or the past with certainty. Would inquires about willingness, shows habitual activity, comments on someone's characteristic behavior, comments on a possibility, and a likely truth. It is also used for asking permission, making a request, and to express preferences. It can be used to talk about the past, talk about the future in the past, or to talk about a situation that is dependent upon another action. Might is used in formal situations and also to express permission in the sense of being allowed to do something. It also expresses possibility in the present, future, and past. May is used in formal situations to express permission in the sense of being allowed to do something. It also expresses possibility in the future. The basic difference between may and might is that may is the present form and might is the past form of may. May is used to express what is factual or possible. For example, I may have dessert after dinner. Whereas might is used in situations that are often imaginary or remote possibility. For example, if I win the lottery, I might buy a Ferrari. Could shows ability in the past and expresses or inquires about permission or willingness in a more polite form. It also identifies a possibility in the present or a possibility in the future that is dependent upon a present action. Lastly, it can be used to make requests or for giving suggestions. The modal verb can shows ability in the sense of knowing how or being able to do something. In formal situations, it expresses permission and shows possibility. It expresses or inquires about willingness. Lastly, in the negative form, it shows inability or impossibility. As we know now, modals are special verbs which give additional information about the function of the main verb that follows it. Here are the characteristics of modal verbs. They never change their form. That means you can't make it plural, past tense by using ed, and you also can't use ing after a modal verb. The modal verbs, being helping verbs themselves, do not need any more helping verbs to convey the meaning of a sentence. How do we use modals? In a sentence, especially a declarative sentence, modals come between a subject and the main verb. The example is already given in front of you. Mary could play the piano. Here, Mary is the subject and play is the main verb. Thereby, in order to form a question regarding the same, the modal would come at the beginning of the sentence. For example, could Mary play the piano? As we have already discussed, we don't use any auxiliary verb with the modals. Therefore, the modals can't be plural, neither can it differ according to the tenses. For example, you cannot add s or ed to a particular modal like can. Also, you cannot use do, does, or did in modals related questions or negatives. Let's have a look at this example. Look at this image and try to reason it. What can we understand from this image? We can clearly see medicines, tissues lying near a man, and he is appearing exhausted or tired. So we can conclude that the man is sick. Since we are very certain about this fact, we are going to use the modal must. The man must be sick. Secondly, we don't really know what he is suffering from. So here we use the modals of possibilities: might, may, or could. Hence, he might, may, or could have the flu. Also, we can see the exhaustion on his face, so we are sure that he can't be feeling good. So, what have we learned this far? Students, here is a table regarding the modals. Observe the utility of the modals at a glance and have a clear conception about what purposes these varied modals are used for.